Hey guys, so AEW All In is heating up. So from AEW Dynamite from last night, so we found out it's official. So the match, Adam Page versus Jon Moxley at All In, that's going to be a Texas death match. So that should be really interesting, and I know it's going to be an outrageous match, and I know the guys are probably going to go for some time. So I wonder how that's going to look. But speaking of Jon Moxley, I hope he loses the championship. I am just so tired of him being the AEW World Champion. His reign has not done anything. It hasn't meant anything. It hasn't created any interesting storylines. It's been the same old nonsense. Someone coming out to help him, the other guy is going to win, and then all of a sudden there's interference, and then Moxley ends up winning. And then also his promos, like his first couple of promos after he won the championship, I kind of liked his promos. I was like, okay, this is intriguing. And then after that, like after the second or third promo, everything was just so baffling, convoluted. It just did not make any sense. He was saying how he was going to change AEW for the better, how he was going to make people better, and some other nonsense that I can't even remember. And nothing happened. And then also with the title, the World Heavyweight Championship, I don't think we haven't seen that title since he won it, I believe. Or maybe did they show it after he won, when he defeated, when he won the championship last year? Did they show it once, like the week after? I'm not even sure. I don't remember, but it's just ridiculous. Moxley is just horrible. And my thing about it, I'm not crazy about Adam Page. I think he's definitely a better wrestler, of course, and I like some of his matches. But like him on the mic with Adam Page, I'm not crazy about him being on the mic. I wanted Will Ospreay to be facing Moxley, but we have Adam Page. So hopefully Adam Page will win, because anyone but Moxley. And I kid you not, if Moxley wins, that's just going to be a kick in the face to everyone. That would just be insane. So I'm just hoping that Adam Page, that he wins. And that promo from last night, Adam Page, he would say something, and then he's like, I'm going to do this because I have to do this. And then he would stop. Then people are like, woo, woo. And this is what it's going to do. This is what it's going to be because of whatever. I can't remember what he said. And then, woo, people are cheering. It was like he was giving a presentation and he had to wait for people to cheer or whatever. Mercedes versus Mina. This was for the TBS Championship. Of course, Mercedes, she won the match. I believe she rolled up Mina. And then after that, Tony Storm came in the ring to check on Mina. And then Mercedes Moné hit Tony with the belt, which just looked really awful. At their match, at All In, Tony Storm versus Mercedes, I hope that Mercedes does not win. She is just so overpushed that it's just becoming ridiculous. She has 6 championships? And it's like these other titles, to me at least, it's just my opinion, they don't mean anything. They're from other promotions. They don't mean anything, since she's, an AEW wrestler. These titles, we just see her with these championships, and they don't mean a thing. So I think she's just over push, overhyped, overrated. And I will say this about Mercedes. Yes, she's had some decent matches, few decent matches, maybe whatever, maybe 1 or 2 good matches, but she is just not that good. Her promos are just not good. Her matches, we get she'll go for 20 minutes, 10 signatures, 5 finishers, the person kicks out, and then finally she wins. It's like the same old thing. And I just feel like, why couldn't AEW push someone like Willow or Chris Statlander? Why? So I hope Mercedes doesn't win. If she does, if she defeats Tony Storm at All In, that's just going to be so ridiculous to me and just baffling. It just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just sick. I don't know. I think I'm just sick and tired of Mercedes Moné. And also the other thing, she needs to get better wigs. If she's going to be a CEO, she needs to get a wig for a CEO. Because those wigs are not wigging, and I don't know, it's just like she got to do a little better, because it looks like she's getting those wigs from the Dollar General, but she needs to get some better wigs, or just go natural, or whatever. But come on, she needs to get better wigs. I have to say that. And then also, what else happened on AEW Dynamite? Also, MJF, he won a four-way match for the number 2 spot in the men's casino gauntlet match at All In. So he defeated R.A. Fox, Brody, King, and Anthony Bowens. So that, I actually like that match. It went on for some time, of course, and people kicking out of all these crazy moves. But I actually like that match. And then I think before that actually happened, Mark Briscoe and MJF, they had their promo, and I'm liking, this program or rivalry that's going on with MJF and Mark Briscoe. So that's, that's some good stuff. And then also the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Syndicate, they beat up Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and the other guy, I can't even think of his name. Mike Bailey, I believe. Mike Bailey. And the thing about that segment, at first, when the Hurt Syndicate, when they beat them up, I'm like, okay, that's cool. The Hurt Syndicate is walking away. MJF and MVP, they're like, good job, guys. Good job, guys. And then Bailey and Knight, they get back up. And then the Hurt Syndicate gets back in the ring again. I'm like, okay, all right. They're going to, finish them. And then they get back up again. I think they got up like 3 times. And my thing about that, especially after the last time the Hurt Syndicate beat up, Speed, Jet, or whatever they called, after that, why did they get up again? Because the Hurt Syndicate, those are grown men, and not Night Speed, but Bailey, he's like, he looks like a little kid, you know what I mean? Now, Kevin Knight, he looks like a man, but I'm just saying, But it's just kind of ridiculous that the Hurt Syndicate, they're supposed to be, this dominant tag team, and just, these guys are just pretty much monsters. So why did, Kevin Knight and Bailey get up again? Like, it didn't make any sense. It just did not make any sense. So after that happened, like that, especially after the second time they got up, after they got beat up, I was like, I'm not feeling this. What is this? Why are they doing this? It just didn't make any sense. That booking was just awful to me. And then I'm trying to think, what else happened? The other thing that happened, what else happened? I'm trying to think. The Young Bucks and Takasha, they had a trios match, and they defeated Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bandito. And you know what? With that match, that was actually like the first time, even though the match went on for some time, and the Young Bucks, once you see one match from the Young Bucks, you have seen all of their matches, because all of their matches are the same. But I actually thought that match was entertaining, and it seemed like, people were into that match. It didn't seem like it. People were into that match, and I think that's like the first time in a long time that people were like actually interested or into a Young Bucks match. So I don't know, the Young Bucks, they are just, I've never been a fan. And I am, I'm sick and tired of them as well. They don't move the needle. Their promos, they're supposed to be bad guys, but they come off phony, and they're being phony on purpose. So it's just not, I don't know. It's just a weird thing to do. If you're supposed to be a bad guy, be a bad guy. And I understand, you could be, a bad guy that's sneaky, or you could be, vicious. Or you could just be evil, whatever, but or you could be like a wimp, but they just come off so phony. So I'm hoping Offspray and Swerve just knock those guys out at All In. And then also we found out that the Young Bucks, they are going to put their EVP titles on the line, meaning if they lose the match, they will no longer be EVPs. EVPs, my goodness, can I get it right? And then also Swerve and Ospreay, they agreed that they will not get a shot. They will not get a title shot opportunity for the AEW World Championship for a year. And the whole thing about the EVP storyline, it could have been good. It could have worked, but they just made everything just so silly, so outrageous, and just comical that it just didn't work. I don't know. They could have just done so many things better. So I'm like, why even introduce that if you don't have a clear plan? That's what I don't understand. And then also, the other thing that we got, of course, in Will Ospreay and Swerve, they won their tag team match that they had against two other guys, the Beast Mortos and some other guy. And also, the main event was for the AEW Continental Championship, Okada versus Ibushi. And I will tell you, of course, Okada, he won the match. He hit his finisher and he beat Ibushi. Okada, my goodness. I believe the guy's 30, I think he's in his mid 30s or maybe 36 or 37, 38. I have no idea. I can look it up and I'm being lazy. The guy looks like he's in his 60s. The way that he moves in the ring, he looks like he's in his 60s. Like, that 60-year-old guy doesn't look too bad. But for someone who's in their 60s, I just don't get it. I really don't get it at all. The only thing I will say about this match, Okada, I like his drop kick. Other than that, he just, I don't know. I don't know. Him having this title, it's just kind of, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. And Ibushi, I know this is his second match. I will say he looked better in this match, to me at least. The only thing about Ibushi, I really like his kicks, but every time, especially at the beginning of this match, I should say, he would do like a kick or a drop kick, or he would do some kind of kick or strike, and then he would look at the crowd for them to cheer him. And then he would punch Okada, and then he would look at the crowd, look over to the crowd, wanting the crowd to cheer him. I think that's just so annoying. Why are you showboating? Why are you looking for the crowd to cheer for you? It doesn't make any sense after every move. I'm like, what is this? That was just so annoying to me. And then of course we had I'm trying to think what happened after that. Yeah, the Death Riders, they came in after to attack Ibushi, I believe, if I have this correctly. And then Kenny Omega came out to make the save. So that was that. This week, it was okay. It was all right. I feel like just the show could be so much better. Like some of the matches, like the Amina versus Mercedes, I just thought that was not a good match. It was just, I don't know. They just didn't click in the ring. It seemed like they had some communication issues. They were a little off. It was an okay show. AEW, they still have ways to go to improve the product. The booking needs to be better. They need to establish superstars. They need to make stars. And Swerve and Will Ospreay, since they're in a tag team right now, why are they having a hard time defeating these other guys who are not even stars? So I don't know. Tony Khan at this point, he needs to really consider hiring someone to book the shows. Please take care and have a good one.